Hello everyone and welcome back. Thanks for tuning in. Something that I haven't really covered, but I had a viewer raise this question, that creating your own FPV gear, whether you call it a backpack or your FPV gear, whatever. And these are all the basic parts that we're going to use. We're going to take one of these antennas. This is a cheap antenna. I couldn't tell you how long I've had it, but we're going to chop it off and make it compatible so we can use it. This is our VTX. You can see there, hopefully, focus camera. This is the FX758. This is the 200 milliwatt version. Those are about 11 bucks. This is a 5-volt regulator from Banggood. You can see that I've already wired this one up and I have hot glued, so you'll want to do that as well. We've got two grounds. We've got our voltage in and our voltage out. This is really important because it doesn't matter what you do here. If you don't have a voltage regulator, as soon as you throttle up, you're going to get static across your screen and you won't be able to fly. This is the $9 170 degree field of view camera. You can see I've used this previously, but I'm going to take all these leads off and put on different leads. And this is some random cable. I got a pack of these, and I can't remember why I got them, but it comes in handy because it's got a green wire, and I don't have any other green wire, so we're going to use this wire in order to create our connection between our camera and our VTX. We've got a 3-position dip switch. I bought mine from Amazon. I think I had to buy like 20 or 50. They're not very expensive, but you know, geez, buying that many, that's a lot. This is going to be another lead that we're going to use, and then we've got our blue tack to keep things steady, and a little bit of sanding paper to rough this up when we solder our 3-position dip switch to this. Okay, so let's go. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take one by one. Sorry, my little soldering plate is awful dirty. Let me scoot this stuff out of the way. I'm going to take these leads off, and I'm going to put on new leads. So I should probably cut this. And for distance, I'm going to use this, because this is about the size of a micro that I would typically put this on. So I'm going to cut the wire. Let's say, give us ourselves a little bit of slack. From here, the VTX is going to be somewhere in the back end, so we want it fairly close. I'm going to snip it there. Don't have to be all that precise. That's done. And I'm going to take the red wire because it's first. It's on the farthest outside bit of the camera. Don't need this in our way anymore. We can see this end is already stripped for us. We're going to strip this end. Try to twist it up. Then we're going to tin it. Sorry if I bumped the camera a lot. Tonight I found that my camera was empty, or the battery was not charged, so I have to do that. I have to have it plugged in order to record. Oh, got it a little hot, got a little burn back there. So we've got that tinned. Don't want to get the blue tack sticky stuff on my lens, so we're going a little bit off. This is where I get my hands in the way, I bet. I'm going to try not. Probably have to go full screen to see this very well. Well, come on. Okay, that is our power lead. So we're going to come back with our own. Give it a little pull test. All right, one down. And we're going to maintain yellow as our video. If you get some of that burn back, you can always trim it a little short. Those will be all right. A little bit of a hornet's nest reusing this equipment, but that's what we do, right? Okay, does anybody see the yellow wire? It has disappeared. Found it! Okay, so let's put the yellow wire on. Well, there's almost nothing on there for tinning. I'm going to do it again. And I got quite a bit of burn back there, so I'm going to trim that down. Good. Alright, next up is our black wire, which is our ground. Get this little guy out of the way. Finally get rid of one of those cables, little hanger-oners. Strip this one. Twist it. It's always hard to tell if you're actually twisting this or not. I guess I just do it to make myself feel better, because that should technically give it a bit more strength. Okay, let's tin it. Yeah, that was a lot of burn back there. We'll have to tin. Let's stop that a bit. I'm going to put a little bit more solder on my end here. I got some on the side. I got to clean that off. I just want it on the end. Ah. Alright, we're down to the last one, and it's going to be a pain because it's right next to the microphone. Let's see if I can do that without getting in the way here. Yeah, there we go. And that was our audio. So strip and tin again. Twist. Or hope that we're twisting. I'm going to raise this side up a bit. Whoa. That's a lot of exposed wire. Let's trim that back a bit. It's more reasonable. So I'm just bending these flat, because typically this is going to sit flat on your surface, and there's no reason to have those wires down. They're just going to get in the way of mounting. And when we get to the hot glue phase, I'll put some hot glue on there to support the camera. Next, I like to prepare the VTX. You can see here on the back we've got our channels. This is where we'll solder on our dip switches, and then we've got our antenna center wire, and then we've got our 2 grounds. And then on this side it's upside down, so I'm going to rotate it. We've got our ground and our 5 volts. We've got another ground, we've got our audio, and then we've got our video. So this side will be camera and power, this side will be channel selector and antenna. So we kind of want these things to be flat. Make sure we have our numbers right. We're going to bend these out. Make sure these all line up. Oops, sorry, I had that a little bit out of frame. Okay, so I'm going to trim these pins back a little bit. There's no reason to have that much hanging off. And I'm going to bend them back down slightly because I overbent. So this is where we'll solder them to get ground. So let's rough that up a bit. Oftentimes some sort of resin or something on top, some sort of coating. This will make it easier to solder them on there. Okay. So I'm going to take my little bit, oops, if I can keep my hand steady. Just press it on here. That'll be a dual purpose. Well, I did that wrong, sorry. Put this here. Holds it in place. Holds it there. Bring some heat. That should all be in place now. Yep. We can trim these pins off. Oh, that one got me right in the nose. Solder these down on top. Give a little test, make sure it's on there. That's all good. Now let's prepare our antenna. So there's a protective coating, as you can see right up here. We're just going to cut above that. And depending upon the length that you want your antenna, maybe you want it real long, maybe you want it real short. That's up to you and your installation. For this purposes right now, I'm going to leave this relatively long. If it's your first time doing one of these antennas, I would suggest you leave it long as well. Just wanting to pull that outer sheath first and see what we uncover. So underneath this clear coating is going to be the wire mesh that is going to serve as our ground, or it's technically the antenna's ground. There we go. We can peel this down as best we can. What we're wanting to do is create two legs. Doesn't matter if one size has a bigger leg than the other. Some of this stuff flakes off, that's fine, it's not going to harm anything. Okay, now we need to expose our antenna, our center pin. It should be enough. And we want these to come down near the edge. So I'm probably going to have to, I'm going to have to cut that centerpiece deeper. Go slow, go by feel. Don't want to apply too much pressure. Okay. So now we're going to create kind of a pitchfork. And how you want to create your pitchfork is so that you can solder it on here. Just like so. Now we want to tin all this up. This side did not stay together very well. I like to do it on both sides, just in case I didn't get it tinned all that great on one side. I don't have to come back to it, it's not going to harm it any. You don't want to get real excessive though. So here's where you kind of have to decide, do you want it straight up? Do you want it leaning back? What do you want out of it for your installation? Because this one's so flexible, I'm not too concerned about it, so I'm just going to go straight up. Where's my little one? There we go. Well, that's not going to work. I have to do it this way. Oh. So everything looks to be nice and lined up. Oh, I forgot something. I should have tinned this real quick. Let's do that just a touch. We don't want to heat up these VTXs too much, so get in and get out. Now we have to realign. There we go. Gonna start with the center pin. Just gonna apply some pressure. It should all come together. There we go. So there's a good shot of what we got. Here's an underneath shot. VTX is still pretty cool. It's not hot to my touch in any way. Alright, so now we got our two pieces. We've got our camera all wired up here, and we've got our VTX all wired up. First thing that we need to do is we need to determine how long you want this lead. This will be the lead that you have going from the VTX to your power regulator. Typically you want it short. Also, you don't have to leave these long. If you want to make this all very compact and short, you can make a backpack like this. You just use really short wires, and then use some epoxy or something to secure the camera to the VTX so it doesn't move around on you. But to make this useful for me, I'm going to use these wires a little bit longer. So for our red and our black, which is our voltage and ground, and our lead that comes out of the voltage regulator to this, we're going to need to bring those things together. So I'm going to need to cut this down to the length I want it, which is pretty short generally. I'm just going to go arbitrarily right there. I'm going to make these just a bit longer than I might normally. Oh, and I cut it all the way off. Well, we'll figure out a way to make it work. Little twist. Getting quite a bit of burn back because it's really hard to see. So I have to trim those, make them even shorter. Go ahead and tin these up. don't know if you can see that. Wish I could make this somehow. So our ground is down here, and here's our 5 volts, so this needs to go like that. See if I can do this. Usually the tricky part here. So now everything will have regulated power. We won't get the static on our screen. Oh, come on, get on there. It doesn't look good. I want to take it off here and do a closer visual inspection. Yeah, that should be good. Try to angle this up so you can see it a little better. Okay, so we've got our audio line, which is this one right here. Fish our video line, which is our yellow. Got it underneath here. So this is what my backpack looks like, and then I make sure I connect this to the ground and out, which says right here on the board this happens to be a Pololu. This is the one I want. It goes on this way. See if I can get a hold of this. Then when you need to bend these things around, I tend to just grab them. Because this will probably lay beside it on the board somewhere when you're mounting it. But again, you can make this as short as you want, but this is about the length of mine. It's going to give me a little bit of play. I can use this on this size. A little bit long for that, not bad though. Just not much too long. Oh, you couldn't see that. Sorry, let me bring that back into frame. If we do it just like this one, this would stick out the back. So I just have a little bit of length. But what we need to do now is test it. So let me get my testing set up. Alright, I've got my G-Tang T909 FPV smartwatch. Pretty cool little device. So I'm going to use it. I actually used the wiring harness that came with the Quantum Elite just because I found it first. I have another pigtail that I made that allows me to plug batteries in straight here, but you know, the thing's this big, so it's a little bit hard to find in my bag of goodies. So let's plug it in, see what we got. Bam! Perfect! Let's see what happens when we do that. Is that a weird effect? So we're all set. This works perfectly. Last thing we need to do. Oh, I just saw us. Look, one of my poor little needs came off. That's the audio. So I'll put that back. But the next thing we would do is put some hot glue on things. So I'll get the hot glue gun ready. Hot glue gun's fired up. Let's secure these wires so I don't have one fall off again, huh? Hot glue, as noted in a previous video, is much heavier than foam tape, so use it as needed, but don't go overboard if you're looking to do anything it's microlight. Trying to do what I can to actually show you this. I have yet to have one of these VTXs heat up enough to where it actually melted hot glue, so I think we're safe. Finish up here by securing our antenna a little bit. I don't have much hot glue left in here. Let's plug it back in just for good measure, and we'll end it there. Make sure I didn't goof anything while I was doing the hot glue. That should be on. Let's check it. There we go. We're all set. Okay, I hope that helps. I'm not going to name the viewer that asked. He was having some troubles, or she was having some troubles getting theirs to work. So hopefully we've walked it through step by step, and I hope I was clear enough and you were able to see enough in the recording that it was helpful. If you have any questions or comments, leave those in the section down below. If you're new here, why not hit that subscribe button? If you're a subscriber, why not hit that like button? I keep encouraging the adding of the like button because I'm told from other people who know YouTube better than I do that that helps people find videos that have been helpful for others. So if you found it helpful or clear, well demonstrated, give it the like. Okay, thanks for watching.